Come on and shine, shine, shine. Las Vegas, shine your light on me.
Welcome to Las Vegas Tonight. Join award-winning host Dale Davidson as he interviews the most remarkable people you'll find in the entertainment capital of the world. You'll meet entertainers, sports figures, newsmakers, community and business leaders, and people just like you with stories that'll touch your heart. Now, here's Dale Davidson.
Welcome to Las Vegas Tonight. I'm your host, Dale Davidson. Each and every episode of Las Vegas Tonight, we do our best to bring you fascinating guests, people from Vegas and around the world who do wonderful things in terms of ministry. And we've done it again. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to present Pastor Kenson Desinor. Thank you,
Good evening, Dave.
Yeah.
Thanks for allowing me to be here.
It's an honor to have you.
Thank
it's
you,
an honor
sir.
to have you.
Thank you.
Also, Officer Kenson, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. You're from Haiti,
Yes,
I
sir.
understand.
Yes, sir.
And tell me about your growing up years. What was it like growing up in Haiti?
Growing up in Haiti was fun because I didn't know any better. But I always like to share that though I'm from Haiti, I was born in a smaller island called Tortuga Island or Turtle Island. It is a smaller island on the northwest side of Haiti. Very neglected because you have to catch a boat to go to that small island. So I was born there in 1979. My childhood, my childbirth was very interesting from what I learned from my mother. Things hasn't changed because I learned if it wasn't for a midwives who came on time to grab me, because my mom stood up and was in labor, ready to push me out. There was nobody there, you know.
All by yourself?
Yes, I was about to fall on my head, and then the midwife was on her way, and she got there on time just to grab me.
Oh, is that right? What a blessing.
Exactly. I probably would not be alive today.
Wow.
So I think
that's a wonderful story.
Yes, sir.
And then you grew up in a small home. I've seen a picture of the house.
Yes, I grew up in a very small home, and thank God I had my own little room. So very small, but again, at that time it was a blessing. I did not know any better, but I look back at it, and I thank God for where I'm at right now. So,
that's great.
Yes,
Did you
sir.
have siblings, brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have 5 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm the oldest.
Tell me what it was like growing up in. It was poverty, really, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any of the basics? You had shelter, obviously. You just talked about that.
Yes,
was it difficult to get food? Was it difficult to get clothing? Was there water nearby? Tell me what it was like on the island.
For me, it wasn't that bad. Looking back at it, that's poverty. But
Yes.
I had people below me because things were a little better for me because my father was always living in the United States. So basically every month, you know, he was working here. He would send us money. So I had enough to eat, and I had opportunity to go to school. But in the island, you have to understand, we have a few schools. The only reason why we have those few schools is because there are a few Canadian fathers and priests, Catholic priests, that placed those schools. That's how I was able to go to school. Without that, basically the island, still today, there's not much. You know, the government doesn't do anything for the island because it's very far. And then also people, even though we have missionaries going to Haiti, they go to the mainland, but they don't go to that smaller island because it's a little risky to catch a boat and go there.
Yes.
So it was very hard.
So the school was on the island itself?
Yes, the school, but some people would work like 2 hours to get to school. As little children, 5, 6, 7 years old. So we don't have that luxury to have kindergarten, to have middle school. No, it was like just one school, and if you were, you know, it doesn't matter where you stay, you have to log those walk 2 hours, 1 hour sometime, and then to get to school. And so, yeah.
obviously you're a Christian because you're a Christian pastor.
Yes, sir.
Was it the missionaries who brought you to Christ, or how did you come to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ in your life?
It was not until when I came to the United States.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
My wife, she's American, and through her, when I met her, she invited me to Bible study, and that's and you know, because I grew up Catholic. I grew up in Catholic school, Catholic church, but it was not until I came here, I met her, and through her, I was able to give my life to Christ.
In Haiti, there's an influence, a voodoo influence,
Yes, sir.
You know, a religion, if you will, that is essentially non-Christian, pagan, or anti-Christian. I'm not sure which.
Yes.
Tell me what influence voodoo and nativist religions have in Haiti and on that little island where you grew up.
He has a huge influence.
Does
and
it?
the worst thing I've seen, the biggest impact I've seen of voodoo is the mindset of the people.
Yes.
With that mindset, like here, if I have a headache in the United States,
Right.
I get a Tylenol and that's okay.
Yes.
Or if somebody, but we have that mentality, which is a reality in Haiti. Any little thing wrong with somebody, they believe somebody is throwing voodoo on that person.
Really?
So if somebody
Wow.
died, they believe somebody else killing it. As a result, the family of that person wanna avenge. You know, they wanna go back to voodoo to kill that family. So we have that as a reality. And when you don't have deep, strong spirituality, people doubt. Even though people in church, you know, sometimes you're gonna see people in church, but they mix it with voodoo, because when trials and tribulation comes, like some type of sickness come, so now they wanna go see a voodoo doctor to find out, because the voodoo doctor, they need to make a living, so they'll try to come up with a story and then tell you, hey, your family, your own family member is destroying your daughter. Your neighbor is doing that. We have a lot of that, and I think it's mainly a mindset. You know, because people gonna get sick, people gonna get heart attack and die. It doesn't have to be voodoo, you know. So,
Sure.
And that's one of the things I truly believe that is destroying this country right now. Because he put us against each other.
Oh,
he put us
yeah.
against our own family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you say the Christians, the
Yes, sir.
believers,
Yes,
will
sir.
mix voodoo
Yes, sir.
in with their belief system.
Yes.
Is this in addition to when there's crisis? Is it a common thing that they'll, you know, go to a voodoo ceremony or talk to a voodoo doctor on a regular basis, or only when there is a crisis? How does that work?
The issue is people who practice it, they do it under the table. They don't want their pastor to know about it. But you know, it's very prevalent, you know, because you're gonna see it. Some people do it openly, because some people would go, we have what we call saint also. They have, there's a place where they have a statue. People will go there and worship that statue. And then once they return from worshiping that statue, they would come with a uniform. You can blatantly see they're doing this type of things. And sometimes also, they have all type of stuff they're doing, and it's so sad, because like I said, instead of working together, he put us against each other. So again, like the people in church who practice it, it's not like the church or the pastor encourage them to mix it. It's just like people, their faith is not that strong. So when your faith is not that strong, when you realize, man, my daughter is laying there sick and I've been praying, nothing happens. So they look for an alternative, and that's the reality.
Haiti has had natural disasters recently.
Yes, almost every year.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me what impact that's had on your home, on your island, on the mainland as well, in terms of people's faith. Has it brought them closer to Christ, or is it the same thing that you just mentioned now? Do they then turn to voodoo when natural disasters, when when hurricanes strike or earthquakes strike, that sort of thing. Tell me how faith plays into that.
The problem is one of the things which is true about Haiti, everybody knows about God. And I would say probably 98% of people have some type of belief in God. But serving God is different. But the other issue is when, I believe in 2010, we have that huge earthquake. You know, it's all of a sudden we have a Christian nation. All of a sudden everybody crying unto God. You know, you see the church were full, you know, everywhere, you know, and during those few seconds of earthquake, people were in the air, raising their hands up, crying, grace. You know, that's one of the things as a child I learned. Whenever you're in a situation, difficult situation like that, you know, we have an earthquake, we have to call grace and grace. And that's what everybody in Haiti was crying for, grace. But the problem is when things good, we turn back.
Oh, that's human nature.
Yes,
it happens here.
Yes,
you know, I saw a real uptick in belief during after 9/11.
Oh, yes.
You know, that sort of thing. But then it fades away. It fades from memory.
Yes, and
as a pastor, that has to be, you know, a real challenge for you to keep God in the forefront.
Exactly, and that's very important. But it's all start with education, teaching, and then, you know, just be there showing the people. But we need to find a way to increase their faith in Christ, you know, because the Bible said nothing is impossible for God. So whether it's a sick child, whether it's a dead child, whatever it is, nothing is impossible for God. So once you have that belief and knowing, you know, even today, like me, a little poor child from Haiti, just by the fact being here, sitting here with you, it's a privilege. It's just like I didn't know you, but somehow God works it out for me to be here. So again, nothing is impossible for God. You just have to 100%, you know, whatever it is. God, if my child die, I'm gonna stick with you. If he lives, I'm gonna stick with you. So I have to make my mind, good or bad, I'm gonna stick with God.
That's wonderful.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about coming to the United States. When did you come to the U.S. and how did that come about?
Yes, like I said, my father was always living here in Florida. He was working construction, so he applied for us. The United States, you have that opportunity. If you want to come here legally, you can apply for what we call a green card, and then to become a permanent resident. So the process is a little lengthy, but if you want to do it legally, it's available to you. So that's basically, wonderful. It's a great process because they want you to come here, make sure your parent can take care of you. They want to make sure, you know, he has enough money when I come here to support me. That's some of these realities. So I came here when I was 19. I was a little too old to go to high school, but I went to get my GED. Like I said, I tried 6 times. It was not until the 7th time I passed it. But I was determined. I was determined to go to college, and by the grace of God, you know, and so.
There was a language issue, I'm sure.
Yes, indeed. Exactly. You need the English comprehension part. That was the part I couldn't pass.
Yes.
You know, back then, the good thing about the GED, the only part you have to keep retaking is the part that you did not pass. Exactly.
Oh,
so I was able to finally pass it, keep going to school, learning and learning, you know, and I was determined, and then by the grace of God and the opportunity afforded by this good country, I was able to, you know, get my GED. Actually, it says high school diploma on it. So if I don't tell you it's a GED,
nobody knows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
it's just as good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Did you mostly speak Creole?
Yes, mostly speak Creole. Grew up speak Creole. In school, we speak French.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
Yeah, in school, we speak French.
Okay. So you're multilingual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Now you went and you served the United States in the Air Force, right?
Yes, sir. After I got my GED, I went to college in Florida for a little bit, and then I joined the Air Force and spent 4 years active in the Air Force, 4 years inactive. That's a total of about 8 years in the Air Force. You know, continued to go to school there. In 2005, I got deployed for Iraqi freedom and spent 7 months in the Middle East. So after that I got out and became a police officer. So it's a privilege.
We'll talk about that in a minute. I want to hear how a pastor is a policeman.
Yes.
Because they would seem to be
contradict each other.
Contradictory, but it really isn't from what you've said.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So we will talk about that.
Yes, sir.
And I also want to talk about the wonderful work that you're doing in Haiti, and
yes, sir.
And give everyone here an opportunity to hear and to see. We'll put some pictures up of what's going on there, and I think people are going to be amazed at just how much you've been able to do for your people back in your home.
Yes, sir.
We'll be back with Pastor Kenson Desinor right after these messages.
Yes.
Hello, I'm Dale Davidson. I hope you're enjoying Las Vegas tonight. The guests we've had on the program are wonderful examples of Christians who take seriously Christ's command to love one another. In addition to the hundreds of television stations across the United States now carrying our show, we have been presented with the outstanding opportunity to bring these inspiring stories to people around the world. An international satellite network in the Russian and Ukrainian languages has asked us to provide them with episodes to be broadcast to millions. To make a gift to support this very special effort, please send your check or money order to Dale Davidson Ministries, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, number 255, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89117. To use your credit or debit card, call 702-480-3989. Thank you, and God bless you.
A potential audience of more than 50 million people is reached every week by Las Vegas Tonight. To keep the important message of Christ's love on the air, we need your prayers and financial blessings. Please send your tax-deductible gift to Dale Davidson Ministries, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, number 255, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89117. For a donation of $25 or more, we'll send you a copy of Dale Davidson's new book, Las Vegas Tonight, From Sin City to Vegas Saints. You'll love these inspiring stories of Las Vegas Christians who are changing the world. Or donate to the ministry, or order Dale's book by going to vegassaints.org. That's vegassaints.org. Or call us today at 702-480-3989. That's 480-3989. God bless you. Drawn by the lights, glamour, and opportunities in Sin City, they come from all over the world, searching for their chance to be a pretty woman, a success, or maybe just to have a better life. Be somebody. What happened after they got here is literally changing the world. From the story of Tommy Scott, a former gang enforcer turned Christian evangelist, to the Hookers for Jesus Outreach Ministry, to the heart-wrenching story of Arturo Martinez and his heroic act of forgiving the man who assaulted and murdered his wife and 10-year-old daughter. Las Vegas Tonight presents an extraordinary depiction of Las Vegas as a city of transformation, from Sin City to Vegas Saints. Las Vegas Tonight, From Sin City to Vegas Saints, a collection of true stories of transformation. People whose lives were transformed, and people who are now transforming the world.
And welcome back. We're very pleased to have on Las Vegas Tonight Pastor Kenson Desinor, who is originally from Haiti. He's doing great work in his home country, and he's also a police officer right here in North Las Vegas. So let's talk about that a little bit. A pastor, a policeman, a native of Haiti. Unusual stuff.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed.
So you were when we picked up. You were in the Air Force.
Yes, sir.
For 8 years.
Yes, sir.
And then you decided to become a police officer. How'd that come about?
Yes. While I was in the Air Force, that's when I met my wife. And my wife, she's American, and she was a very spiritual young lady.
Yeah.
And she invited me to Bible study, and through her and her pastor, I gave my life to Christ.
Wow.
And so,
that's wonderful.
Exactly. So, her pastor was a Metro police officer. I believe he's still he was.
Oh, here?
Exactly.
In Las Vegas.
So he was
okay.
a Metro police officer, and then he became my mentor, and then so through him, he was able to talk to me, and that's how I joined the police force.
Yeah, and how long have you been a police officer?
10 years.
10 years.
Yes, this month.
Tell me about the life of a police officer in the Las Vegas Valley. It's they call it Sin City, and
Yes,
there
sir.
certainly is sin and crime.
Yes, sir.
And yet you're a pastor. Do you find conflict in those two roles, or do they work together?
They work together for me. One of the other drive that led me to become a police officer, it's watching, as a police officer, watching the juveniles. One of the things I've seen a lot, those young kids, 15, 16, 17 years old, their parent thinks they're going to school. And then what they would do, a lot of them, they would just skip school and break into people's house. Burglary, that's a huge thing. When I see that, and then God was dealing with me about that, I feel there's something I could do, there's something I could do about this kid. But, and then being a police officer, it's not challenging for me at all. It doesn't affect my faith at all. Actually, I'm seeing myself as doing the work of God.
Oh, okay.
Basically, the Bible said, whatever you do, do it for the glory of God. Amen.
Yes.
So basically, anywhere you are, you can be a light for Jesus Christ. So becoming a police officer 10 years ago, it's I love it. I love it. Being able to help people, because we have a lot of women right now being victimized by their husband. We have men also being victim of domestic battery. So whenever I feel like I'm taking one of those suspects to jail, I see I'm serving. I'm helping somebody get their freedom back. I'm helping somebody get justice. I'm helping somebody get back on their feet. So when I arrest a juvenile, I have the time to talk to them, try to put some sense into them, and try to show them, you got your future, because one of the things I always do is telling these people about my life. Because one of the things I see, juvenile 15, 16 years old, they have no respect for their parents. They're complaining about everything.
Yeah,
so when I go to those houses, instead of arresting, instead of mistreated them, I tell them about how hard I had it as a child. When I was a child, I had 2 pairs of shoes, one to go to school, one to go to church. And the one I go to church or go to school, every weekend I have to sew it, because you have to walk long distance. By the time I get to church, the bottom fall apart again. So that's how I had it. So now you see these kids with cell phone, with internet, with all type of stuff, and then they have no respect for their parent. They complain about it. One of the things I always ask them, how much you pay for that nice pair of jeans you're wearing? How much you pay for that cell phone? How much you pay for rent? The answer always, nothing. My mom paid for it. Then, if your parent pay for them, they deserve at least some of your respect, because I did not have all of that and still had to respect my parents.
Yeah.
So all of these things, I'm seeing I'm making a difference, so I don't see it any conflicting thing at all.
Do you find the opportunity to talk to them about Christ?
That's not allowed. I'm not, in my job, I'm not allowed to do that per se.
Okay.
But like I say, but people can bring it up. Like last time I went to a domestic situation where husband and wife, they were arguing, have some issue. But the way I speak to that person, and he can see automatically, I don't have to bring Christ. If they bring it, I'll be glad to talk about Christ, But by policies, because we have all type of faith, when you go out there, you're supposed to love and serve everybody,
Right,
So
right.
again, but Jesus is the answer. I'm on TV, I can say it. I'm not at work right now.
That's
but
right.
I wish I could, so but again, you can show people, show them how you treat them with respect, even if they disrespect you. Show them there's a better way. There's a better way ahead. If you go through that path instead of this path, things can get better.
Sure.
It was hard for me, but I had to walk 1 hour to go to school. I had to, when I come home, try to find food. I had to use candle or whatever it is to study because we did not have electricity. I had to go get my own water, probably 30 minutes walk to go get a bucket of water and bring it back home. So it's sacrifice. Nothing in life, it's easy. Nobody owes you anything. So, and that's the message, you know, when I go out there and I portray to these kids.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yes,
You have your own church. Tell me about becoming a pastor. How did that come about?
As I was going through Bible study, being in the military at the time, and then God was dealing with me because I had an opportunity. While I was in the Air Force, they were about to send me to school to become a doctor. They would give me a paycheck every 2 weeks, and then I would become a doctor. But again, that's one of the things I shared one time about how do I know which one is the will of God? That was a huge decision for me. I found the will of God through experience. Basically, like I said, for a poor child from Haiti, now I have an opportunity. The Air Force would pay me to send me to school and give me a paycheck every month. And then now versus becoming a pastor, because the opportunity, the future seemed bright, you know, to become a doctor because you make good money. But at the same time, my spirit was pulling me somewhere else. So because I was reasoning with God, I was like, God, if I'm a doctor, I can still go to Haiti and help the people.
Sure.
That's a good thing. But again, something was telling me, yes, that's true. But again, the spiritual lives is more important than their physical mind. So
Right.
that's some of these things I was dealing with it. But one of the things I learned, maybe somebody who's watching right now, you want to do the will of God. God, if you invite God in what you're doing, He will make a way for you. He will lead you. Basically, when I could not make any decision, I pray about it. God did not come and tell me anything, whether I should get out or stay. But God allowed a situation, hallelujah. God allowed a situation to happen. In 2005, while I was deployed in the Middle East in support of Iraqi freedom, my daughter was only a few months old. My wife was also in the military. So now, while I was over there, we have no family here to keep the baby. The Air Force wanted to ship my wife to the Middle East also.
Yes.
My wife's family live in Mississippi. So that's when Katrina hit. So we could not send our daughter over there. So again, we have that big situation. It's either she get out or she gets shipped over there and we have no place to leave our daughter. So again, now I'm looking back at it, that was God, you know, orchestrated things, you know, because of that situation. She was at the end of her enlistment, so she ended up getting out, and eventually we both getting out. And then I decided, you know, and then to pursue my, you know, my path as a pastor. So again, I could not have an answer, but God allowed a situation, you know, to push me out of that comfort zone. And here I am today, sir.
And she's a nurse.
Yes,
right?
she is a nurse.
Yeah. And you told me she works in the jail?
Exactly.
Is that right?
Yes, my wife is a nurse at the jail. So when I bring the prisoner to her, she takes care of him. So again, the
you
whole
bring
team,
them in and turn them over to your wife.
Exactly, because yeah, she works at the jail.
That's
and
great.
she screens the prisoners. So when they come through, yeah, she does that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me about your church.
My church, Light of the World Church. My wife and I, we started that church over 4 years ago. So we located right there on Wencho, 101 Wencho. There is First Christian Church. They're generous enough to rent us a room.
I know that church.
Exactly,
Yeah,
First
great
Christian
people,
Church.
yeah.
So Pastor Will is a very nice person. So he allows us a place to worship. Our church is mainly Haitian. My wife is American, but we mix. We do the service in English and Creole. So we just serving, trying to make a difference. But like to me, you know, I've seen, you know, we just want people to know that God is real. You know, nothing is impossible for God. You can be that person out there. It seems like all hope is lost. Because like I said, sometimes I go in my closet counting the shoes I have today. You know, when it started with 2 pair. So God is God, nothing He can do. Look at today right now, I'm on TV. I didn't ask for it, but God opened some doors. So I'm grateful. I am very grateful. And like I say, like the church, we meet every Sunday at 6 p.m. For now. So until we can have more location to have another service. So, but we are grateful. We're very
Oh,
grateful.
that's wonderful.
Yes,
That's
sir.
wonderful.
Yes, sir.
I've seen the pictures, and
Yes, sir.
it looks like everybody's enjoying themselves.
Yes, there is a difference in our church. We like a family.
Yes.
I don't see myself as a pastor, what so-called pastor. I see us as family, being able to love each other. And that's the way I like it, you know, because like I say, because God allowed me to be in the Air Force, to be a police officer. So position doesn't really matter to me anymore. Fame and fortune doesn't really matter for me anymore. But about being there for each other, loving people. And then as we love, because before you can help somebody change, that person has to trust you first. You know,
Sure,
before you can
sure.
help somebody, they have to see you care. And that's why, you know, sometimes we just come to the house and we spend time together. We eat together. That's why the Bible called communion, fellowshipping. So I'm not caught up too much in tradition and all of this tradition. I'm caught up in, like Jesus Christ came to make a family, not mainly religion, but a family where we can be there for each other and growing and knowing God little bit by little bit.
That's a wonderful philosophy.
Yes, sir.
And I can tell how happy you are with it. I can see it in your face and in your eyes and in your smile.
Thank you.
that
Thank
you
you.
love serving the people.
Yeah.
And what's your wife's name?
Kostrom, Desinor. Kostrom. Yes, sir.
Kostrom, yeah.
Yes, sir.
She's a pretty gal. You're a lucky
Yes,
man. Yeah.
very. I am a blessed man because, you know, sometimes I've seen that in the movies sometimes. You know, at home, we all, when we're on TV, we speak well of our wife, and then at home we like dog fighting.
Yeah.
But my wife, she's one of the most beautiful person and heart inside, and I would say I've never seen. I'm not just saying it because I'm a man of God. I feel God. I don't just speak word for the sake of it. You know, she's very humble. She loves God. She prays a lot. She studies a lot, you know, and because of that, you know, it's a blessing also because the church, you know, I'm traveling to Haiti, traveling to Mexico, traveling all over, you know, doing humanitarian work. And so because of that, I have somebody I can relate, you know, because she's
Sure.
a good teacher. And like I say, and she can relate to the people, especially being a woman, you know. My church is, you know, mostly the women. So because of that, she is a great help. And like I say, I could have asked for more.
Oh, that's wonderful. And
Yes,
we're taping the show on Valentine's Day, so she's going to be happy when she sees
I
this.
know, but you didn't know today is my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
Thank you.
Happy
dear.
birthday!
Yeah, today is my birthday.
That's
so,
wonderful.
Yes, sir.
What a fortunate day to be born.
I know.
On St. Valentine's Day.
Exactly. And my greatest gift also, this is a gift to me today. You know,
So
and-
glad you could come.
Yes,
Yeah,
so it's a
so
privilege.
glad.
Thank you.
We're going to keep you over for our final segment.
Yes, sir.
And we want to talk about Haiti and, as you mentioned, the humanitarian
Yes,
work
sir. Yes, sir.
that you're doing there,
Yes, sir.
as well as in Mexico and
Yes,
other
sir.
places around the world.
Yes, sir.
It's very admirable, the
Thank
work
you.
you're doing, and
Thank you, sir.
and we're blessed to have you doing that work.
Thank you very much.
So we'll be back with Pastor Kenson Desinor right after this. Hello, I'm Dale Davidson. I hope you're enjoying Las Vegas tonight. The guests we've had on the program are wonderful examples of Christians who take seriously Christ's command to love one another. In addition to the hundreds of television stations across the United States now carrying our show, we have been presented with the outstanding opportunity to bring these inspiring stories to people around the world. An international satellite network in the Russian and Ukrainian languages has asked us to provide them with episodes to be broadcast to millions. To make a gift to support this very special effort, please send your check or money order to Dale Davidson Ministries, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, number 255, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89117. To use your credit or debit card, call 702-480-3989. Thank you, and God bless you.
A potential audience of more than 50 million people is reached every week by Las Vegas Tonight. To keep the important message of Christ's love on the air, we need your prayers and financial blessings. Please send your tax-deductible gift to Dale Davidson Ministries, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, number 255, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89117. For a donation of $25 or more, we'll send you a copy of Dale Davidson's new book, Las Vegas Tonight, From Sin City to Vegas Saints. You'll love these inspiring stories of Las Vegas Christians who are changing the world. Or donate to the ministry, or order Dale's book by going to vegassaints.org. That's vegassaints.org. Or call us today at 702-480-3989. That's 480-3989. God bless you. Drawn by the lights, glamour, and opportunities in Sin City, they come from all over the world, searching for their chance to be a pretty woman, a success, or maybe just to have a better life. Be somebody. What happened after they got here is literally changing the world. From the story of Tommy Scott, a former gang enforcer turned Christian evangelist, to the Hookers for Jesus Outreach Ministry, to the heart-wrenching story of Arturo Martinez and his heroic act of forgiving the man who assaulted and murdered his wife and 10-year-old daughter. Las Vegas Tonight presents an extraordinary depiction of Las Vegas as a city of transformation, from Sin City to Vegas Saints. Las Vegas Tonight, From Sin City to Vegas Saints, a collection of true stories of transformation, people whose lives were transformed, and people who are now transforming the world.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Tonight. I'm your host, Dale Davidson. We've been having a fascinating conversation with Pastor Kenson Desinor, who is also Officer Desinor at the North Las Vegas Police Department. Yes, his lovely wife is a nurse at the jail, yes, and they serve the community, and both of them serve their church, yes, sir. Which really sounds like a wonderful church. Yes, and we'll put up some pictures of your church as, yes, well. Sir. It looks, yes, like, sir, you're having a good time.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk a little bit about Haiti,
yes, sir,
during this segment.
Yes, sir.
You're trying to help your old village more than anything there,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it's really admirable that you're spending your own money,
yes, sir,
you're traveling on, yes, your, sir, own dime,
yes,
and,
sir,
and
yes, sir,
you. Let's start by talking about the clinic.
Yes, sir. Real quick, what I want to say, there's a verse in Genesis that say, God say, I bless you to be a blessing. You know, and I truly believe in that, and that's what I'm doing, you know, because I realize all the wealth we accumulated right now, when we go, we can't take that with us, and that's part of what's driving me. The other thing that drives me is it's the fact that I was born there, and then a few strangers from Canada put a school there that allowed me to have education. That's why today I feel the need to give back. But as far as the clinic, yes, the clinic, I was able to build it doing stuff like I was telling you, selling parties, cooking food at the church, selling food at the church. That's, yeah, mainly how we build it. And then also I have a friend called Elder White, all the way in Germany. When he saw me building the clinic, and he sent me $1,000. You know, and then that's how I was able to build that clinic. So I just returned from Haiti. We painted up, and then we had a last $500 that we get from selling food. So that was the last one. So we painted up. I was able to get some medicine, like the bed for the clinic. A nice lady called Denise, all the way in North Carolina, saw what I was doing, and she offered me some medicine and then some equipment. So finally I get them to Haiti. So we have the clinic right now ready to go. Some of the challenge right now, we have doctors and nurses, but somebody got to pay them. And so that's the only reason why the clinic is not open yet, but everything is ready to go. So that area where I placed that clinic, there's none of that there at all. A lot of children are being killed. A lot of pregnant women, they die because they have to relate on midwives. Actually, that's one of the things I was hoping I can do next July, because the needs and a few nurses wanted to come. They were gonna teach the midwives, you know, how to use clean supplies, you know, so that we can reduce the toll of infant being dying as a result of all of these things. Because think about it, when you're dealing with midwives, they cannot control your blood pressure. As you're pushing that child, they have none of that. You're just at the mercy, at the mercy of good luck, or So, but I thank God we were able to complete that clinic. So it's there, just waiting to be able to pay a doctor or a nurse to get it going.
Yeah, to keep it going all the time.
Yes, sir.
And there'll be quite a walk for patients to get there, won't there?
Yes, it is be part of that, because right now there is one main hospital in the island. Last time I was in Haiti, what almost brought me to tears, I was speaking to some of these people in the village. Because when somebody really sick right now, they cannot walk to go to that hospital, the men have to remove a door from the house, and then they would put the sick person on top of that door, and they would carry that person on their head, like two men carry that person on their head to that hospital. And it's at least 3 hours walking.
Oh my Lord.
By the time they get there, most of them die. Or you can try to go by the seaside and pick a boat and get them to the mainland where they have better hospital. And Haiti, they have hospital, but that little island, there is nothing. And it hurts me to see all these people. Sometimes the missionaries, they have good heart, they go to Haiti, but nobody wanna come to Tortuga Island to do anything. And that's why, just like Esther, I believe God put me in a position to make a difference, whatever it takes. And I thank God for my wife. He allowed me to have the time to go there, to supervise their work. And then I thank God for people who see what I'm doing, because I don't have an organization, I don't have a sponsor, I have nobody. It's just me out of my pocket. And then, like I say, I learned how to make pastries, patties. I sell those patties $1, to raise money. People don't know that. They just see me as the police officer. They see me as the pastor. They see those nice pictures on Facebook and the background, but they don't know the sacrifice I have to make, to get this thing going.
It's a big sacrifice.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about bringing water to the village. That's another project you're working on right now.
Yes, I'm working on a project right now to bring village and to bring water to the village. Yeah, I have a good friend of mine. She's Filipino, named Kathy, and she's a good friend. We were talking when I explaining to her about the water situation, and then that idea came to her. It was like, Pastor Kenson, there must be something we can do. And then she came with that idea that we would try to buy one of those machines that you can transform the salt water into drinking water.
Desalinization.
Exactly. That's what we were gonna do first. But when we look at it, not only the machine is expensive, but when you're dealing with salt water, that's gonna require a lot of maintenance. So now we decided to go another route. So now what I decide to do, there is there is an underground water source in Haiti and the islands. So
a spring.
Yes, it's a spring, but now it's such a dangerous place. I got video on Facebook where you have to, me and my brother came here and went to do a video to walk to that spring. My brother fell like 3 times, Yeah, because you have to go down a hill, and it's a lot of rocks and stuff like that. So people have to go down that hill on a cliff to get a bucket of water and bring it back up to the village where they live. So now the idea came to me, maybe that water, I can get a way, if I can find a way to get that water to the village up there. So what we decided to do, we did some research and find out there are pumps that that can pump that water from that spring water from underground. It's a steep hill. I believe it's over 98 meters high. It's very high.
Wow.
So it's about over almost 2 kilometers, a kilometer and a half. So that's what we're doing. So I already built the first tank on top of a big hill in the village. So we built that first tank. We just need to cover it up. Right now it's pretty much ready. So now we're gonna go to that spring, under the hill. We're gonna place 2 pumps. We're gonna use solar pump, and then those pumps gonna pump that water. You're gonna pump that water to that big reservoir, and then from up there we can just distribute it to everybody.
Have gravity pull it
exactly,
down.
have gravity pull it to several. It's gonna benefit thousands and thousands of people, and that's gonna bring huge relief. But it's not easy because it's expensive. That tank already cost me almost $5,000 to build it.
Wow.
And that's with the participation of the community, because they sell me everything at 50% discount. They cannot give everything free because they have to survive. The racks, I have to buy that. So, but we pretty much finished with that first tank. So now the biggest thing I'm trying to raise money for is that tube that's gonna bring the water. I need about, like I said, 1,500 meters of that pipes. That's gonna, and then I need to buy 2 pumps. Each pump costs about $4,000 each. And then once I get that going, these people are gonna have water, and they don't have to work miles and miles to get a bucket of water. That's gonna be one of the most joyful things in my life. Like I say, those tubing, they sell them at Home Depot, like $300 each. So I'm gonna need probably about 20. With the shipping cost, I would say $500 each. I need 20 of them. Once I get 20 of them, that's gonna be awesome, because it's gonna be beautiful. Because one of the things, real quick, it's just like, once you're in the situation, you don't know any better. Here in the United States, we use on average 100 gallons of water a day. In Haiti and Tortuga Island, maybe less than 1 gallon a day these people use. So now to be able to provide them water, it's gonna be, I'm just waiting to see the smile on their face, the smile on their children's face. They don't have to walk miles and miles to get a gallon of water. They can focus on their study. They can focus on playing like every normal kids would do.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
How big is the village?
I would say the whole island, they estimated has about 45,000 for the whole island.
Wow.
But that thing gonna be beneficial almost about half of the, probably I would say 30% of the people, so on the west side, so not for the whole island. So, but it's gonna be a large, probably I would say, easy, 10,000 people easy. We're gonna be able to serve. It's gonna be a blessing to them.
That's remarkable.
Yeah,
that's
and
remarkable.
yes, and also we have a school there too. Remember, we have that school.
Yeah, tell me about the school.
Yes, we have. A few years ago, I went to Haiti and I saw a young man. He opened a school in the backyard of his grandmother, and then I was so moved, and I gave him a gift of $300. When I get here, he sent me a report and showed me how he spent every penny. And then from that day on, I was hooked with that school. So the school they use like coconut leaves, to make the school. When it's raining, they're gonna have school, So now I was able to build them a better school. We have probably over 7 classrooms. I was able to cover it, but we never have money to put wall around
put the walls around
so
it.
the last hurricane damage, because they use some type of tops around it, the wind just destroyed. Last time I went to Haiti, it was so sad to see the situation of the school. They have a nice roof, which we built, nice school, nice roof, but around it, it's horrible. So the kids have to just endure it like that for now. But we have over 150 children.
That's great.
I have 7 teachers to take care, so it's no joke.
Wow.
Yes,
so do they separate into different age groups in the classes, or does everybody learn simultaneously?
No, we have a different age group. It's not really by different age group. And Haiti, the way it is, if you don't pass the test, you don't make it to the next class. So you might have a 50-year-old sitting with a 2-year-old.
Is that right?
That's
great.
But again, the challenge I have, because the clinic and the school, they're in the same yard. So because of the hurricane, we moved some of the students in the clinic. But right now, I got ready to get the clinic going. So to kick them out, we don't really have a spot right now for them to go. I'm pretty sure something will pop up. But there's so many challenges. We need the clinic, we need the school. But again, so over time, we trust in God. So.
Well, you've been obedient and served him well,
yes,
and it's just an awesome thing to hear about.
Yes, sir.
We want to give our viewers the opportunity to help you out, Pastor.
Yes, sir.
So this is your camera over here. Why don't you talk to them directly about how they can do so?
Yes.
I know you have a website,
Yes,
and
sir.
you have Facebook, and you
Yes, sir.
also have a GoFundMe account.
Exactly.
Why don't you tell everybody about those things?
Hey again, everybody, if you are watching, I truly believe it's not a coincidence. My name again is Pastor Kenson Desinor. God created me like that. I just love to serve, and it doesn't matter if it's only Haiti. Like I said, last month I was in Mexico helping the refugees at the border. Here also, I work with the homeless whenever I have the opportunity. That's what God called me to do. But again, I just go at it by faith, and I'm just trusting you. You are watching. You can go to PastorKensonDesinor.com. PastorKensonDesinor.com. You can visit some of our work there. Also, you can check me on Facebook. It's Kenson Desinor. If you search for Kenson Desinor, you can reach me there. My email address is blessedservant@cax.net. And then also we have a GoFundMe page too. I set up a GoFundMe page that you can give anywhere. It's GoFundMe.com/Pastor Kenson Foundation. Pastor Kenson Foundation. You can donate, and it would be a blessing, because I'm doing all of this with no organization, it's just people like you who God touched your heart and you decide to give. So thank you, and I look forward to hear from you.
Oh, that's wonderful. And we will encourage people. We'll put that information
Thank
up
you,
on the
sir.
screen.
Thank you, sir.
And if anybody would like to call us
Yes, sir.
to connect with you, you
Thank
can
you.
call our number right here at the station,
Thank you.
which is 702-480-3989. I'll connect you with the pastor.
Yes.
And boy, God bless you, Pastor.
God bless you. Thank you.
And happy
Thank you
birthday.
for the opportunity. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Pastor KensonDesinor.com.
Yes, sir.
And we are so pleased to have you here today.
Thank you, sir.
Please contribute if you can, and I'm sure that the pastor would appreciate
Yes.
volunteer help at the
Yes,
church, or
yes,
when
exactly.
you're going to
Oh,
Mexico,
or Haiti.
when you're going to Haiti.
Yeah.
It would be
Just
a
come on
wonderful
down.
adventure.
Come on down.
A wonderful
God will bless
adventure.
you, and you will be joyful.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're a wonderful man. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
today.
All right.
As always, I try to close out the show with the most important thing, and that is, please walk with Jesus Christ.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Thank you. You've been watching Las Vegas Tonight. We'll be back at this time again next week, and we'll run this show several times to
Thank
make
you
sure
very
people
much,
have the
sir.
opportunity to
Thank
help
you.
you out.
Thank you
God
very
bless you all, and thank you for watching. Hello, I'm Dale Davidson. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Las Vegas Tonight. Allow me to take just a few moments to let you know how you can learn more about some of the fascinating guests that I've interviewed. My new book, Las Vegas Tonight, From Sin City to Vegas Saints, is now available around the world. In it, I profile amazing people who make Las Vegas something much more than just a place to party. These compelling stories often tell of people who came to Las Vegas for reasons much different than the innovative ministries they ended up leading right here in Sin City. Take, for example, Tommy Scott, known as Hitman to his fellow members of an infamous gang in South Central Los Angeles. Tommy was serving time in a Las Vegas jail and contemplating suicide when a couple of pastors visited him in the lockup and led him to Christ. Tommy immediately began studying the Word and has become an on-fire evangelist and Christian author. Then there's Annie Meadows. Annie began life in a rural part of Kentucky, increasingly was fascinated with the occult, and eventually became a full-fledged witch. Rejecting anything having to do with God, she angrily vowed never to attend church or have anything at all to do with religion. Then, like Tommy, she had an encounter with the living Christ and now travels the world as a gospel singer and writes Christian children's books. Pastor Chris Chappell was an avowed atheist who also wanted nothing to do with the Lord. He was a successful businessman who felt he surely didn't need Jesus. His wife and father-in-law convinced him to attend church, and he felt a stirring that made him investigate the Bible's claims. telling the Lord that he needed answers to his objections. He found those answers in a supernatural way and is now leading a remarkable church, Casa de Luz, in what's called the Naked City, which is a neighborhood just off the famous Las Vegas Strip. This formerly crime-ridden area is now experiencing a remarkable turnaround, and his church is serving that community in amazing ways. Doc Jones traveled to Las Vegas from New York on a personal mission to make as much money as he could. A born entrepreneur, he started a photography business that specialized in taking pictures of groups of partiers at the hot nightclubs on the Strip. He then learned that by referring young guys to the city's strip clubs, he could pick up lots of cash from the club's owners. That evolved into sending young women who were wannabe strippers to these so-called gentlemen's clubs, and then he managed their careers. Eventually, he felt so empty and despondent that he too thought seriously of suicide. Hearing a sermon about the prodigal son caused him to dedicate his life to Christ. Now an exceptional musician and composer of gospel rap, hip-hop, and spoken word genres, he is helping change Las Vegas from a place where sin abounds to a city where grace abounds more. Pastor Clegg Seth was an aspiring actor and screenwriter in Hollywood and a strong Christian who wanted to make a real difference for Christ in the entertainment world. But the Lord called him to establish a crisis hotline for runaway teens who were coming to Hollywood to pursue their silver screen dreams. He then started halfway houses for men and women with substance abuse and other problems. He also helped set up a similar men's home in Las Vegas. At one point, he developed a gambling habit, but the Lord delivered him from that problem, and he now devotes his life to sharing Christ with men in prison, serving seniors in a church setting, along with visits to nursing homes and hospitals. He has continued his quest to influence Hollywood through a ministry called the Christian Studio. I personally really look up to Clegg Seth as a model of how a Christian should live and serve others. He truly is one of the Vegas saints. Read these stories and more in this 226-page book, Las Vegas Tonight, From Sin City to Vegas Saints. You can get your copy in several different ways. Go to my website, vegassaints.org, or order it on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. It's just $15.99 plus shipping. For more information or to make a donation to Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries that will help us keep this program on the air, please call 702-480-3989. Or you can write to us at Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries, 9030 West Sahara, Suite 255, Las Vegas, Nevada 89117. And thank you so much for watching Las Vegas Tonight.
Drawn by the lights, glamour, and opportunities in Sin City, they come from all over the world, searching for their chance to be a pretty woman, a success, or maybe just to have a better life. Be somebody. What happened after they got here is literally changing the world. From the story of Tommy Scott, a former gang enforcer turned Christian evangelist, to the Hookers for Jesus Outreach Ministry, to the heart-wrenching story of Arturo Martinez and his heroic act of forgiving the man who assaulted and murdered his wife and 10-year-old daughter. Las Vegas Tonight presents an extraordinary depiction of Las Vegas as a city of transformation, from Sin City to Vegas Saints. Las Vegas Tonight, From Sin City to Vegas Saints, a collection of true stories. You've been watching Las Vegas Tonight with Dale Davidson. Send your tax-deductible gifts to Dale Davidson Ministries, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, number 255, Las Vegas.
Welcome to social media shows. Have you been watching social media shows recently? Of course you have. We have been live streaming for 4 years across social media platforms. We produce over 70 shows with over 1,000 episodes. In the process, we've helped over 100 creators realize their dreams and start their own show. We give platforms to promote your business. If you are an artist, if you have an event, if you are entrepreneurs, or if you have a story. If you haven't done it yet, go ahead and subscribe and follow us on major social media platforms. And if you have a great idea of a show, join us. Social media shows can help you produce and live stream your own show. Let us help you make your dream become a reality.
Hello, everyone. This is Joseph Skoda with Social Media Shows. Well, I thank all of you for your support through these last several years, and it's been a lot of fun. We've given people a voice they never had before. Now, Social Media Shows is always collaborating with our veterans to help them do things and help out the veterans who are struggling today. And we teamed up with GI Connections, connecting veterans with resources. So please consider helping and donating to this great cause because we're always doing things for veterans. So GI Connections, Social Media Shows is what makes the world a better place. Once again, Joseph Skoda, proud United States Air Force veteran.
Come on.